5 years may not seem like a long time, but when you're growing, truly growing, it feels like a lifetime. I look back at who I was 5 years ago and feel a strange mix of affection, frustration, and gratitude. That version of me was ambitious, hungry for more, and desperate to change, but he was also deeply confused about what self-improvement really meant. He believed growth was about hustling harder, fixing everything that was wrong with him, and constantly chasing the next version of himself. He believed that if he just followed the right morning routine, read the right books, and pushed hard enough, he'd finally feel worthy. Looking back, I don't blame him. I had good intentions, but I also had the wrong roadmap. If I could sit down with that younger me, maybe in a quiet cafe, somewhere safe and still, I wouldn't hand him a to-do list. I wouldn't give him a 10-step morning ritual or another productivity book. I'd just tell him a few truths, softly, gently, and if he really listened, I know they would have changed everything. So today, I want to share 5 things I wish I knew about self-improvement back then. Truths that would have saved me years of frustration, self-doubt, and burnout. And maybe, just maybe, they'll help you too. If there's one trap that nearly destroyed my momentum again and again, it was this: perfectionism. I thought if I couldn't do something perfectly, it wasn't worth doing at all. I would start projects and abandon them halfway. I would plan endlessly, tweak tiny details, rewrite the same journal entry 10 times, because I wanted everything to be just right. And guess what? Nothing ever was. Perfection is a liar. It disguises itself as ambition, but it's really fear in a nice suit. It's fear of being judged, fear of failing, fear of being seen before you're ready. But here's the truth. Perfection never helped me grow. Progress did. Progress is messy. It looks like showing up to the gym when you feel weak. It looks like filming a YouTube video when you're not in the mood. It looks like writing that awkward first blog post that no one will read, just to say you did it. One of the most important lessons I've learned is this: you don't grow by thinking about the perfect step. You grow by taking the next step, even if it's clumsy, especially if it's clumsy. And here's the magic part. Once you start choosing progress over perfection, life starts moving. You gain momentum. You stop judging yourself so harshly. You start trusting that imperfect action is still powerful action. If I could whisper something to my past self in one sentence, it might be this: stop trying to be perfect, start being real. For most of my early adult life, I wore a mask without realizing it. I said yes when I meant no. I smiled when I was hurting. I agreed just to avoid conflict. I thought that being good meant being liked, being approved of, being quiet and agreeable. What I didn't realize is that constantly trying to please others is the fastest way to forget who you are. When you build your identity around being liked, your self-worth becomes fragile. Every criticism feels like a personal attack. Every silent rejection feels like failure. You start editing your personality for every room you walk into, molding yourself to fit what others expect. That kind of life is exhausting. I remember one night when I was 23, staring at the ceiling, thinking, why am I so tired all the time? I wasn't physically exhausted. I was emotionally drained from pretending, from smiling when I wanted to scream, from nodding when I wanted to walk away. And the hardest truth I had to face: some people will not like you, no matter how kind, funny, helpful, or agreeable you are. And that's okay. That's freedom. Self-improvement isn't just about habits and routines. It's about self-liberation, about giving yourself permission to be disliked, misunderstood, even rejected, without shrinking. When I stopped trying to please everyone, something incredible happened. The right people started showing up, people who resonated with the real me, not the version I had curated. My relationships deepened, my voice strengthened, my energy returned, and the people I lost, they weren't really mine to begin with. So here's what I'd tell my younger self: stop performing for people who won't applaud your truth. Start showing up for yourself. When I first got into self-development, I treated it like a checklist, like a game I could win. Wake up at 5 a.m., read 20 pages a day, meditate, journal, cold shower, workout, hustle till midnight. Every task checked off gave me a little dopamine hit, a sense of control. It felt like I was hacking life, engineering success. But over time, something strange started to happen. The more optimized my life became, the less connected I felt to it. Instead of feeling fulfilled, I felt robotic. My routines began to feel like cages. I wasn't living, I was executing. Even the things that were supposed to bring peace, like meditation or journaling, became just another task to complete. That's when I realized self-improvement is not a project with a deadline. It's a lifelong relationship. A lifestyle is something you live, not something you measure. It allows room for rhythm, for seasons of intensity and seasons of rest, for discipline, but also for gentleness, for ambition, but also acceptance. There were days I skipped workouts, days I slept in, days I felt stuck. At first, I thought I was failing, but I wasn't. I was just human, and real growth honors your humanity, not just your hustle. I remember a mentor once told me, if your self-discipline doesn't come with self-compassion, it will eventually become self-punishment. That hit me hard. When I let go of the obsession with perfection and embraced the idea of rhythm, my life became richer. Some days I'm focused and productive. Other days I slow down, reflect, and simply exist. Both are part of the journey. If you're always sprinting, you'll burn out. But if you find your rhythm, you'll build a life that lasts. So, to my younger self, you're not a machine. You don't need to perform your growth. You need to live it. It's a requirement. I used to think rest was for the weak. I believed if I wasn't constantly grinding, constantly producing, constantly moving forward, I was falling behind. I wore exhaustion like a badge of honor, as if burnout was a sign of my commitment. I thought rest had to be earned, like a prize after you've suffered enough. I was wrong. The truth is, rest isn't what you do after the work is done. Rest is part of the work. It's not a break from progress. It's a foundation for it. Let me tell you about the moment it hit me. I was deep into hustle culture, up at 5 a.m., working 2 jobs, building my side projects, trying to grow a YouTube channel, and reading self-help books on the train. On paper, I looked impressive, but inside, I was crumbling. I remember sitting at my desk one night, staring at the screen, hands hovering over the keyboard, and nothing. My brain just shut off. Not because I was lazy, because I was empty. There was no more to give. It scared me, because I realized that all my productivity had turned me into someone I didn't even recognize. Tired, short-tempered, disconnected from joy. I was pushing so hard to build a better life that I wasn't living the one I had. So I started to unlearn everything I thought I knew about rest. I learned that rest is not laziness, it's wisdom. Rest is not indulgent, it's restorative. Rest is not the opposite of productivity, it's what makes productivity sustainable. Some of my most creative ideas came not from staring at a screen, but from walking in silence. Some of my biggest breakthroughs came not during a sprint, but after a pause. Stillness gave me access to myself again. And here's the kicker. When I started resting intentionally, I became more focused, more grounded, and more joyful in my work. So to my younger self, and maybe to you too, rest is not what you get when you've proved yourself. It's what you need to keep becoming yourself. If I could choose just one lie to erase from my younger self's mind, it would be this. I have to become someone amazing before I can be happy, loved, or at peace. That belief drove everything I did. I thought if I just achieved more, looked better, became more productive, read more, earned more, then I'd finally feel worthy. Then I'd finally arrive. But here's the heartbreaking part. The more I achieved, the more distant that feeling became. No milestone was ever enough. No level of discipline ever made me feel whole. No number of followers, dollars, or checkboxes gave me the sense of inner peace I was chasing. Why? Because I was chasing it outside myself. It took years for me to understand. Self-worth doesn't come from what you do. It comes from who you allow yourself to be. And the life I was dreaming of, the one where I felt calm, confident, connected, it wasn't something I had to earn. It was something I had to allow. By being honest, by being kind to myself, by stopping the chase and starting the process of acceptance. That doesn't mean you stop growing. It means you grow from love, not from fear. You evolve because you care about yourself, not because you're ashamed of who you are. When you believe you're already worthy, something beautiful happens. You stop trying to fix yourself, and you start learning to know yourself. You stop chasing happiness, and you start practicing it. You stop waiting for the future, and you begin to show up fully in the present. So, to that younger version of me, and maybe to you right now, you don't have to become someone else to deserve the life you want. You are already enough, not someday, not when you fix everything, now, as you are. If I could go back and sit across from my younger self, looking anxious and determined, eyes full of ambition but heart full of doubt, I wouldn't give him a lecture. I'd give him space. I'd tell him to breathe. I'd remind him that he is not broken, not behind, not unworthy. I'd say this: growth is beautiful, but don't let it turn into self-rejection. Hustle is useful, but not when it silences your inner voice. Productivity is powerful, but not at the cost of your peace. You don't have to prove your worth. Just be present in it. The real journey of self-improvement begins when you realize you're not improving to become someone else. You're simply uncovering who you've been all along. So to you, reading this now, maybe the best thing you can do today isn't to grind harder or plan more. Maybe it's to pause, to breathe, to forgive yourself, and to remember, you're doing better than you think.